Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome for today's event, live event by Drink Positive. I am Madhavi, and I'm very excited to introduce Dr. Rupa Shah to you all. She's doctor from Mumbai, and she's the one who co-created many insightful playlists. These videos for Drink Positive YouTube channel. They're basically about the health benefits of adopting plant-based milk consumption practices and other dairy alternatives. So, Dr. Rupa Shah has numerous years of experience in healing people, also reversing chronic diseases with the help of diet change. And so, before we go on, I'd like to tell you all a bit about the Drink Positive campaign. Drink Positive is a pan Indian campaign which is designed by Jeev Bhavna, which is ethical environmental non-profit based in Pune. And our aim is to inform the public about the multiple benefits of choosing plant-based milks and non-dairy products over dairy. So, whether it is for the environment, climate change, for the animals, or for personal health, or even for the welfare of farmers, we are always at the forefront to enable people to choose plant based milk options. Since our launch in late December 2023, we have published dozens of videos on this channel that are aimed at a diverse public. And we thought it would be a great idea to have you interact with our amazing team. And that's why we have Dr. Rupa Shah with us here today. So we urge you all to engage in this conversation this evening. You can like our video, you can share, and we'll be happy to see your comments in the comment section. And most importantly, we will be happy to interact with you today in this live session. So, without much delay, I'd like to welcome Dr. Rupa Shah to introduce herself, and we'd like to know how and when you discovered the health benefits of giving up dairy. Yes, Dr. Rupa Shah.
So, first of all, thank you very much for the invitation. I always enjoy being on this platform and sharing what I would say, unlearned, what I already had learned before in my journey.
Mhm.
And that's the big one because all along our life, we have so many ideas, so many myths, so many concepts. I was also one of them. I'm a medical doctor. So, about 15 years ago, I attended a workshop on diet and lifestyle for disease reversal. And I heard something like diabetes can get better on this particular diet. And I heard it for the first time. And there it was mentioned that milk is not really our food. So it's very difficult to understand what's wrong with dairy. I'm a born vegetarian, and I have eaten dairy products with complete relish, like rasagulla, ghee, dahi vada, ice creams. They're all my favorite. I can't give them up, and I never suspected anything about it. I thought it was an extreme statement, but let me try for 30 days. That's what was suggested. Let's try it out for 30 days. So, no harm. I said, all right, no idea. Let's just try and give it up because there's so much discussed about it. So, when I gave up dairy products in my daily meal, so that was like not eating curd, not having buttermilk, not having ice creams, no ghee, and still there was little bit of traces were there here and there. We Gujaratis have it in thepla and dhokla and muthia, everywhere little bit of it. So I didn't bother about the big ones. I'm only bothered about the big ones. The small ones I ignored.
Mhm. Mhm.
But in 7 days itself, I saw a big benefit. The
Wow.
body started feeling light. I felt very energetic,
Mhm.
and I had acidity issue for many
Mhm.
years, which completely disappeared in just 7 days. And then I used to get migraine headaches, for almost 18 years, a very regular, one big one every month with extremely bad pain, vomiting. I would be just lying down and get up only next day. Very bad ones. Those ones completely disappeared again in the first week itself, second week, third week, fourth week. So my 30-day experiment got over. Not a single attack of migraine headache, no acidity. I lost couple of
Wow.
kilo. I felt very energetic. I felt even mentally very calm. The stress word, just disappeared because I just was so
Mm-hmm.
alive. And I
Mm-hmm.
was overwhelmed with this information that there's something wrong with dairy, which I never suspected. I was happily having it, and I just gave up that, and my health took a big jump. So,
Mm-hmm.
this personal experience taught me one thing, that I'm a medical doctor. How come I didn't know about it? It was age
Yeah.
47 that time, and I really needed to know. How come I don't have this information? So I started searching on internet. That time the internet did not have so much information or so many
Right.
websites or videos.
Mm-hmm.
The internet connection was very slow. I still lay my
Mm-hmm.
hand on a few books and I read them all.
Mm-hmm.
And within 3 months, I understood so much more about it. And then I
Mm-hmm.
read the book by Dr. Will Tuttle. It's called as World Peace Diet. That also
Yes.
mentioned about the compassion aspect of the dairy industry. And then I understood why one needs to go 100%. It's not just for health, it's also for
Yes.
animals and it's also for environment. And finally, I met
Right.
a friend who was already vegan at that time for more than 15 years. And he taught
Wow.
and talked to me about the spiritual aspects, why we should not harm anyone and practice ahimsa in our personal life. So that was a spiritual
Mm-hmm.
angle to it also. So finally, that's it. The calmness that I have felt in last 15 years has never left me. The peace, the clarity, the lightness, the weight that I lost has I've never regained back. The energy levels at the age of 63 are still again like that of a 17-year-old that I always felt at that time. Literally like a new birth. No pain, no migraines. Every day you get up predictably with complete clarity and health. And another second, so one thing was reversal of my chronic problems. The second one was I understood about the diabetes. Reversing type 2 diabetes is possible for vegetarians if they understand that they should give up the dairy products. So we
Mm-hmm.
started our journey with actually taking up the patients and looking at the results. And truly,
Mm-hmm.
14 years ago, a patient from Pune who reversed his diabetes, which he had for 10 years, he reversed it in few months. He's still free of diabetes even till today when he is in his 70s.
Wow.
So, reversal and prevention. These two things I learned. I'm 63. I have not invited the same diseases that people of my age have, like diabetes, blood pressure,
Right.
high cholesterol, obesity, maybe acidity. I don't have. So I understood tremendously about reversing, cleaning up your body, and prevention. And if you want to age gracefully, if you want to age without any medication or those popular diseases, this is the chance for vegetarians. So for me, it has become a very big journey. I started experimenting in my own home about how do I make dairy alternatives. So the challenges were like curd or ghee or butter or ice cream. Finally, we made it all, everything. And then I wrote the book Dairy Alternatives, which is now available in 3 languages.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the journey is on. The most popular questions people keep asking me over the years, and I love to answer them because I have walked the path and I know exactly what questions will come in your mind. I have answered them, and I can answer them again to you also. So, the
Exactly.
disease reversal, training many doctors now about it, writing books, creating awareness, and breaking the myths about dairy products. We are the largest producer of dairy in the world because our demand
Yeah.
is the largest and we do consume them.
Exactly.
So the
Exactly.
problem is very serious because with the dairy are all those diseases that are coming, and the burden on our medical fraternity is very high.
Yes. So now that you mentioned the medical fraternity, doctor, how much do you see doctors being receptive to this new knowledge now? Are they understanding are they accepting the, shift in diet to heal people or reverse patients and reverse their diseases, the chronic diseases?
Sure. When 15 years ago, when I started, people thought it was just a fad, and the diet is not complete, and you must be deficient, and your bones will go weak, and you'll be protein
Mm-hmm.
deficient, and but none of those happened. And actually, each year I feel more healthy than the previous year, which is overwhelming. To know that as you age,
Yeah.
you actually are gaining, in
Yeah.
strength and energy and health.
Mm.
So the
Mm. Mm.
the example is very sharp, very clear. And now what we do is there's a lot of evidence available, lot of research data
Mm-hmm.
is available across the globe. There
Mm.
are many journals that
Mm.
are publishing the papers about plant-based
Mm-hmm.
nutrition for various diseases.
Mm-hmm.
So you name it,
Wonderful.
autoimmune disorder, diabetes, blood pressure, obesity, lowering your cholesterol.
Mm-hmm.
There are data available. Research paper is available.
Mm.
Papers are available.
Mm.
Why soy is good for health? Why soy contains so much of protein that we can completely take it? So
Yeah.
there's so much data available that we are now
Yeah.
presenting it to doctors, and that's exactly what they want, right? Data. So evidence
Yes.
based
Yes.
nutrition,
Yes.
available information. So now they are very willing to learn about it. And many of the doctors themselves have their own personal stories of transformation. 2 years,
Wonderful.
3 years, and four
Yeah.
years, when they practice it, they see tremendous change in their own health, like reversing
Yes.
autoimmune disorders or diabetes. Then they understand that what they were doing all these years was only management of various diseases with lots of titles.
Mm.
But the root of all this is
Mm.
straight into the diet and lifestyle. Pay attention,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not that difficult. It's very easy, very doable,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then they
Yeah.
are taking one. And
Yeah.
the now we have I have a group on WhatsApp which has got 200 people. They are
Mm-hmm.
Indian origin doctors and nutritionists from all over the world, and
Wow.
tremendous discussion happens on health topics, sharing the research data. I'm very touched and overwhelmed because it's spreading very fast now. And we
Wonderful.
conduct a lot of events for doctors and nutritionists, and we are planning also
Yeah.
a course, online course only to train
Mm-hmm.
doctors. There's a course
Mm-hmm.
already for nutritionists as well. It's
Mm-hmm.
happening.
Wonderful. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I see young health professionals like budding doctors also showing interest in this diet now. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll have a new generation of doctors who will be more influenced by, or they'll take it up in their course of uh, healing patients, based on diet. So, yeah, it's interesting to know this. When you mentioned about soy, I just remembered that a certain community of health professionals, particularly the naturopaths, they have reservations about soy. Like, I mean, I would like to know the reason. Like, is it because, or do they say that, there are hormones which are causing imbalance, especially in men? Is that true? What
No,
are,
definitely
mm-hmm.
not. The data is saying the opposite. The soya
Mm-hmm.
is consumed,
Mm-hmm.
particularly in China, for centuries. People are just using all kinds of fermented soya products and tofu very
Yeah.
comfortably. Second thing, we already
Yes.
have now wonderful research data available on soy. But the soy is
Mm.
produced for whom across the globe? Do you know who eats it? It's for animals.
Yeah.
It's animal agriculture. Where does your cow get her protein from? Probably these days they are also fed some soy waste food also,
Right.
so that you
Right.
get protein. So soy is consumed by us also and by animals also. It's just a bean.
Mm.
There's nothing to be unhappy about it or think
Mm-hmm.
about hormones and all. The data says exactly opposite. Actually, it helps in the breast cancer patients also. So now is the time to actually honor this humble being, which has the highest protein, which is comparable to the animal milk. And tofu also is very helpful. Those nothing to worry about the hormones in it. Those are from the plant base, and they are not going to disturb our hormonal cycle, because the data
Correct.
says the opposite actually. So I would suggest that the athletes that are there even in India, they consume very good amount of soy product for years and years and years, and they laugh it
Mm,
out saying that, do I have a breast? A man will say, do I have a gynecomastia if I'm having so much of soy, so much? You think hormones
exactly.
is going to change me? No, nothing
Yeah.
like that.
I,
Just have them
yeah.
regularly in various forms. We recommend them. In fact, our government also promotes soya products because it's a very cheap plant-based protein available, and people can
Yes.
afford it also. The soya milk can be cheap, you can make it in less than 10,
Yes.
15, 20 rupees a liter. That's really cheap,
Yeah.
right?
Less than
Even
that.
the
Yeah.
tofu is
Exactly. Yes.
available at less than 100, 200 rupees. You can make tofu a kilo. Forget
Yes.
available in the market at 200. Making at home is
Yeah.
less than 100 and very rich in
Right.
protein. So why bother about paneer? So I
Yeah.
recommend soya to those who can digest soya bean. Please take it. Please include it in your
Yes.
diets. Here in the
Mm.
street, I see sometimes, the lariwalas are selling during winter the chana, boiled chana with
Mm.
chaat
Yeah.
masala and all. Then boiled peas,
Yeah.
again that's high protein. And then I see them boiled soya beans. Wow. So
Okay.
they're eating it. Yeah, and it's high protein.
Right.
So I recommend that.
Right.
Just the way you have steamed mung beans, that's high protein. And this is street food.
Yes. Mm. Interesting. And I think
So
if
I
at all we
recommend all
should
the
worry
soya
about,
products. All soy. Pardon?
yes. No, I was just saying that if at all we should worry about the hormones that come in the cow milk, because that is what is not good for our health.
That's the most
Yeah.
important topic, because see, think
Yeah.
about why a cow gives milk. A cow
Hmm.
can only give milk when she gives birth to a baby, because
Yeah.
primarily she is going to feed her calf. She is just
Yes.
not producing milk for us. It's really for her
Yes.
calf. She does feed to her calf if it's a female. If it's a male, unfortunately, they are sent away to other industry like wheel industry, but the female one gets some milk, and the rest is again taken by us and sold, and we do whatever we like with it. But
Yeah.
the hormone levels are very high in this milk, as she wants her baby calf to grow from 50 to 60 kilo to 200 kilo in just 18 months. The protein is high, her
Absolutely.
hormone levels are very high, because the growth must happen very fast.
Right.
Now, after 3 months, again, she is artificially inseminated and she becomes pregnant. We worked out that she will be lactating and pregnant at the same time for another 9 months. Why? She's feeding her young one. She's also having a baby inside who's going to grow. And here, during the pregnancy, the hormones, estrogens, are 20 times higher. Now, that goes in your milk. The glass of milk that comes on your table, do you know which cow it comes from? Was she pregnant or was she not pregnant? The hormone levels are very high in this. So what are
Right.
you going to do with it? Do you need such high hormones? You don't. Those who are having PCOD, they have to question two things. Are you consuming too much of cheese? Are you taking more dairy products? If yes, these hormones will go into your system and will disrupt your hormonal cycle. And that's how PCOD. When I was young, I never heard the word PCOD. When we were
Yeah.
in medical
Absolutely.
college, we didn't hear so much of it. And now it's like so often. And it
So
is
common.
directly
Yes.
linked with the way we have manipulated our food, how conveniently it is available, and how we consume it in large quantity. You go to a restaurant and read the menu. In the menu, you will see every other item has some dairy product in it. It's a cheese dosa, or the cheese pav bhaji, or there's butter in it. There's so much butter pav bhaji. So even our traditional foods have got this dairy put into it in some or other form. You can eat Punjabi food; it has a lot of cream in it, paneer in it. So just saying it that even our traditional foods are now having too much of dairy. So we have to remove all that, and then find our dairy consumption has increased per capita, and it is increasing every year. It is one of the largest in the world. Not only producing it,
Mm.
we are also consuming it quite a lot, and it's going to have
Mm-hmm.
effect on us. And if we don't grow vertically, we are going to grow horizontally. That is what I say.
Right, right.
That's
So,
how we see obesity
thank
on the rise in teenagers also.
yes, yes, exactly. There's so much that has changed now in these past 20, 30 years with the increase in milk consumption, of course. So now that we've got these options, we always had them, of course, but we have like awakened to their presence. Plant-based milk options. There are people who have allergies to nuts, you know. So, and many of our milks are nut-based. So, what options in plant-based milk would you recommend to such people?
Sure. So just look at it. There is a nut-based milk, then there are
Hmm.
grain-based milk. So you can have
Hmm.
oat milk, which is grain-based, right? You can have rice
Hmm.
milk, which is again grain-based. Then there is
Right.
bean-based. So in the bean-based, you have soybean as the first one. You can also have mung beans also. You can combine the two also. So that also is
Oh,
possible.
wow.
And finally, there are seeds-based. So sesame seeds you can add. That is also going to give
Mm-hmm.
you milk. So I recommend,
Hmm.
sometimes I have heard also amaranthus, that is Rajgira. You can make milk out of
Hmm.
that as well. So those are like, we call
Yeah.
them as kilo grains. So they are, or millet based. You have
Yeah.
bajra and jawar. All these nachni, all
Yeah.
these can be also converted into the dairy
Yeah.
product. So if you don't want nut, it can be nut free also. I use
Correct.
usually peanut quite often. I
Yeah.
make peanut and rice combination, but one can have it with the soy also the same way, or just the oat also. You can try various combinations,
Correct.
and it should work.
Exactly.
If you have nut allergy, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. And I often come across this argument about soy milk, like soy, how can you have soy? Because it's causing destruction of the forest, or, it is, that's why, people have like demonized soy.
Sure,
And
sure.
so
So if you
unfortunately,
see
as you
the production
said,
of dairy milk and water consumption as compared to that,
yes,
plant-based milk do not consume so much of water or uses the
yes,
environmental resources. I agree,
yes,
almond also will need. We will need some, but compared to dairy products, the way it is produced,
absolutely,
it's going to be much better. This is what I can
yes.
see.
And statistics, according to statistics, the amount of soy that we feed the animals, that is the reason why we are growing, on more hectares of land soy, which is also leading to deforestation. And so the actual problem with soy has to be understood. Whom is it produced for? When humans consume it, we don't need
It
it in
just
such big quantities.
we are just wasting our energy by
Yeah.
trying to have something second hand. That means the
Yes.
cow will eat the grass or the soya as well, and
Yes.
then she will give milk, and then I'm having that milk, and I'm wasting so much of resources. But why can't
Very
I just have
inefficient.
direct plant-based food, which is having rich in calcium and protein, and is so cheaply available? So we are wasting more
Absolutely.
resources in feeding these animals a lot more than we directly consume it. So certainly that is
Exactly.
the problem. We are wasting our energy by doing this kind of second-hand kind of activity.
Exactly. For every kind of animal-based food. So whether it's milk or,
Yes,
it's chicken,
correct,
eggs.
because they are also going to
Yeah.
cause methane gas emission. That's a very big burden on our environment. Nobody talks about it.
Yes.
So their farts,
Exactly.
and then the number of cattle burden on India is very high. The only
Yes.
thing, our desire to have dairy products and our concept that uh, they say na दूध नहीं पिएगा तो बड़ा कैसे होगा. So
Exactly.
you find moms running with a glass of milk, putting sugar in it, putting chocolate in it, closing the mouth, I mean, opening the mouth, closing the nose, and gulping. Most of the time, children don't like milk.
Up. Oh
Most of
yes.
the
Oh
time,
yes.
you somehow figure out, to push it into the system. They don't like animal milk or milk from other animals. So this is what we are doing, and we are constantly breeding them. We are constantly
Mm-hmm.
increasing their number. And honestly, after 4 cows that are born and you've extracted all the milk, and if her age is 7 or 8 and she can no more conceive, and you can get no more milk from her, she's no more your money making machine. What do you do with her? Do you ever see a
Yes.
buffalo on the road just walking around like that, trying to eat some plastic? No, all
No.
these blades are totally sent to slaughterhouse. You may see a few cows
Exactly.
here and there, yeah, but most
Yeah.
of them obviously find their place only as beef industry.
Exactly.
The dairy
And
industry
it's
and the beef industry are totally hand in hand. Dairy
yes,
industry is
yes.
producing the beef. The cows, the
Yeah.
animals are not raised just for beef. It's the leftover,
Yeah.
spent over cows are for beef industry. So beef industry cannot survive or sustain without the dairy industry. This is what we are
Yes.
doing. But yet the burden is still high on our society of this number of cattle that we have and the methane gas and what do we do with them. So choices are who rings the bell first in the morning? Everyone's household. It's the dudwala.
Yeah.
That's our habit.
Exactly.
चाय के बिना मेरी
Yeah.
सुबह नहीं होती है. These are the habits, but you can soon get away. Just you do 30-day experiment and slowly you see the benefits in your own personal health, and within few weeks you will forget all those that you might have eaten all your life, just the way I did it.
Yes.
You can have herbal
Yes.
tea, you can have milk, soy milk in the tea, or you can have a combination of oat and cashew, and that also is very nice. Coffee, if you want to have, you can have pretty much everything slightly different, and then just get going with it.
Exactly.
It's also living a
Yeah.
very aware life, about our actions. What do we do?
Yes.
What does it do to my health? What does it do to animals? And what does it do to our environment, our planet Earth? And
Yeah.
that's the only one
Yeah.
we have. We have to figure it out what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Dr. Rupa, I had another question for you. I'm sure, I mean, as a health professional, you know that Ayurveda is a significant part of Indian health practices, and it continues to be. And many times people prefer to go for Ayurvedic treatment over the conventional, medicine practice where pharmaceutical medicines are prescribed. Now, we know in Ayurveda there's a common practice of using milk or milk products in the form of curd or ghee for the treatment process. And in the plant-based movement, we clearly know how detrimental it is to our health. So, how would you address this contradiction? Like, what do you want to say about this?
So I totally get it. Ayurveda is using ghee all the time as a drug
Yeah.
delivery system, or
Yes.
curd for probiotic. So I agree
Yeah.
totally that Ayurveda has been incorporating, but the cow that was there in your house that had a name, did not take any hormone injections, did not have any
Mm,
pesticides in the food, or did not have any antibiotics given regularly, was very
mm,
healthy. She conceived naturally. Her baby was
mm,
given, and she
mm,
was treated like a member of the family. There was no refrigeration at that time. We always converted that milk into curd and buttermilk and ghee very quickly.
mm,
And only rich people, some houses had cows, not all, not everyone can afford. And people worked in the farms, in the field, doing tremendous amount
mm,
of hard work, probably
mm,
managed to digest all of it. Couldn't afford.
mm,
Even now, there's a huge part of the population that cannot afford any dairy products just because they are expensive. It's the comfortable middle class that is affording it and is consuming a huge quantity of dairy products. So in Ayurveda, they see guna. They see gun means the effect. So Ayurveda has like very perfected science. They will say which milk is good, whether it is the first 3 months of after her delivery or after that, or they
Oh.
will say whether the cow had a red color or a white color or a black color, or how the ghee was made, whether with the valona they say it. So there are a lot of fineness in Ayurveda. Through the century, we lived with animals with complete harmony and like a member of the
Mm-hmm.
family, and she was looked after. She had a name too. Even if she went for what we call it as grazing, in the evening,
Mm-hmm.
she just returned home because this was her home. Didn't have to remind her every day to come home, just like a member of the family. And you didn't consume a huge quantity, and you lived a much simpler, natural life with clean air, clean water, without disturbing the environment. Probably our genes and our deshi cow, right? The A2 variety was very
Yeah.
sturdy genetically. We managed. She only gives
Yeah.
5 to 6 liters of milk. How is it that the whole family is going to have that? No, very little milk is
Yeah.
available, and was always given as a
Yeah.
priority to those who are sick, or some medicines have to be added in it, not like food, not like a daily thing,
Yeah.
but more like a
Yeah.
medicine. So I would say
Yeah.
that agree, but now look for the same quality stuff you won't find for medicine. It's not that easy,
Yeah.
but right now it's making us sick. It's that's it's making us sick. It's a industry. Yeah, it has loads of antibiotics in it. You will develop antibiotic resistance. Why are you going to take it? The benefits are almost not there, damages are much more. So now there is vegan Ayurveda book available, vegan Ayurvedic cookbooks
Mm-hmm.
are available, and the coconut oil is identified as having same quality as ghee. So you can
Okay.
replace it and say, okay, coconut oil can be taken and as a drug delivery system, and no problem. And even in Ayurveda, there were branches. There were people who were very unhappy
Mm-hmm.
with the animal products used for medicines. And
Mm-hmm.
the Jains were already practicing the vegan Ayurveda. Even 1200
Mm-hmm.
years ago, there are volumes that speaks about only plant-based medicine and no animal products at all. So even then, they were
Yeah.
aware about the violence in this industry, and they shunned the
Correct.
Jains. They had already
Correct.
started the vegan part of Ayurveda. So why
Correct.
not? We just have to move
Yeah.
back into the system and eliminate
Yeah.
the unnecessary cruelty, pain to the animals, and it returns
Yeah.
to us in the form of disease anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, this is very good insight to give because I never really knew that the in
Just also
Ayurveda they
just
see
think,
they
yeah, just think about ghee.
yeah,
Like ghee is the thing, right?
yeah,
The ghee
yeah,
word is Indian word. The घी मैं घी मेरी दादी माँ हमेशा घी खाती थी. मैं अगर घी नहीं
hmm,
खाऊंगी तो मेरे joints का क्या होगा? People say, no, my
hmm,
joints need
hmm, hmm,
lubrication. I need ghee.
yes,
But the ghee
yes,
word is only Indian. Only Indians have heard it, and Indians have this concept. The rest of the billions
right,
of people all over the world don't have poor joints. They
yeah.
don't have ghee,
Oh, yeah,
but
that's a
they
very important point. Yeah,
yeah, and
yes,
no animals. So they have perfect joints. So you don't need them. You can
yeah,
live without ghee as well.
yeah,
It's only Indian
yeah,
concept.
yeah, yeah. So tell me, Dr. Rupa, if we were to forgo dairy, where would we get our protein from? Is one very common question that I face. Many of us actually who advocate for plant-based milk.
Correct. See, now the protein is very hyped. When is the maximum growth happening in a human life history? It is in the first year of
Hmm.
life. The birth weight
Hmm.
of a baby is about 2.5 to 3 kilo, and she
Hmm.
triples her weight in the first year of her life. That's where the
Yeah.
maximum growth happens. And the breast
Yeah.
milk contains certain amount of protein, which is exactly in alignment with the fast pace of growth. Understood? And then the growth
Hmm.
slows down,
Hmm.
and after 18 years, the protein is required because we are growing up to become an adult. And after
Right.
18 years, we do need protein for only repair and maintenance. So
Hmm.
our protein requirements go down much lesser
Hmm.
than an animal.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, if you don't get dairy for protein, thinking that I'll
Hmm.
get protein from there, that is, of course, a second
Hmm.
hand protein. Where does a cow get her
Mm-hmm.
protein from? Where does she get her
Mm.
amino acids from? From the grass,
Correct.
from the plant
Yeah.
base. The same
Hmm.
way, we also get loads of protein in the plant based food. All the beans are high sources of protein. But what about our
Mm-hmm.
simple spinach? Do you think spinach has protein? No, it's not marketed like that. Spinach has protein as well. There's
Yes.
protein. There are all the amino acids are possible. You combine your food well, and you get all the essential amino acids in the plant-based
Yeah.
kingdom. Or giving you an example, that there are already plant-based babies. Yeah, they don't take any uh, other animals' milk except their mother's milk, and after that also they are just brought up on plant-based milk. There's no protein deficiency. But apart from that, the pregnancy time, you need more protein. Again, the plant-based protein is sufficient. And finally, we have athletes, fitness walas, yeah. Their protein needs are
Yeah.
very high because they are doing muscle wear and tear. They need it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even then, the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
plant-based is sufficient. And we have
Mm-hmm.
fantastic athletes all over the world who are plant-based
Mm.
100%, and yet they don't have any protein deficiency. So protein is
Right.
available in plenty in plant-based diet. You don't have to worry. Our needs are not very high though. Average around zero point 0.8 to 1 gram per your body weight kilo is
Yeah.
sufficient, and a little higher if you are an athlete. And pea protein, plant-based proteins are actually much safer, no hormones, right? It doesn't cause
Yeah. Yeah.
overdose of protein in your system. The problem is of
Yeah.
overdose, excess protein being available, and that too of animal origin. That's going to cause problem. So better to take
Yeah.
plant-based proteins. We don't even recommend so
Correct.
much of protein powders, only in some situations. Otherwise, just our roti, sabji, dal, chawal, rotation, beans. Yeah, various
Yeah.
we have pulses,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
some nice veggies. We should have
Yeah.
decent protein available.
And when you mentioned spinach and protein, I remembered the cartoon I used to watch as a kid of Popeye. They used to show him have a can of spinach and his muscles used to pop out. So I guess that was a way to say spinach is. Yeah.
Super.
So, yeah, yeah. Creative ways, basically. So, would you say that plant protein is as good as animal protein? I mean, you just said actually, you just explained that the quality of plant protein is good, but somewhere this, impression is there
A
when
lot,
people
yeah.
are always,
A-
yeah,
Animal protein has a lot more problems. Your
yeah,
body is going to take that animal product, meat, whatever. It will break down into
yeah,
amino acids and will reconstruct a new protein. So it's a two-step
yeah,
process. When you take a
yeah.
plant-based diet, these are direct amino acids. You eat them and
Mm-hmm,
make up what you want. So it's not even
mm-hmm.
efficient energetically. Then there are the way animal agriculture happens these days. They are pumped in with hormones, antibiotics, in a very pathetic condition. They are artificially fattened up, and then you start eating that. That's going to cause other problem. Processed meat is even worse because even WHO has said that it is number one carcinogen, the processed meats.
Oh,
So
oh
why
my,
would you want
yes,
to take, protein from animal
exactly,
sources?
exactly.
Plus, it needs
So we just have,
refrigeration. What a burden on the society. Yeah, the animal, it's
yeah.
a highly perishable food. It has a shelf life. It's really not energy efficient at all.
Yes, exactly. It's not energy efficient. And Dr. Rupa, now we barely have 5 minutes left with us, and we have a couple of questions, from the chat. So people say that they can't imagine living without tea. You just mentioned that actually, but I would like to address it more without curd. In different regions of India, you see people love their curd or people love their ghee, or tea is loved all around the country. What would you call this like a kind of addiction, and what would you suggest or advise? How would you advise people who have this addiction?
Sure, milk does cause addiction. It's true because there
Yeah,
is a casein. Casein combines
yeah.
with morphine and makes
Mm-hmm.
mesomorphine, which is the addicting
Mm-hmm.
substance. It combines
Mm-hmm.
with these receptors in our body. So now what happens? It is actually there for baby and mother to bind with each other. And now we are
Okay.
taking it. Sometimes we have a
Mm-hmm.
joke, right? अभी भी तू दूध पीता बच्चा है क्या? But adults
Mm-hmm.
who are drinking milk are doodh pita bacha only, and they are addicted to the milk. And to give up cheese, to give up curd, give up tea is not easy because milk is addicting. So,
Yeah.
what we need to do is to study, understand, and whether there's a very simple line that I speak about. Does the food have power over you, or you have power over food? If a food calls you
Yeah.
out all the time and makes you addict, then you don't have power. That food is
Yeah.
controlling you. Yeah, and
Right.
these are not foods. These are food-like substances. We
Mm-hmm.
don't want to trouble our body with that which is not real food. Let's
Mm-hmm.
get 30 days experiment. When you do, gradually the addiction goes away, dependency go away,
Mm-hmm.
and your taste bud
Mm-hmm.
reorganizes itself.
Mm-hmm.
And you will start
Mm-hmm.
liking the food which is plant-based, which is more tasty, easy on your stomach,
Mm-hmm.
and you will
Mm-hmm.
not miss the other dahi or anything at all. I make
Yeah.
curd at home from a groundnut and rice combination milk. The curd is so good that we use it for fermentation, like dhokla or handwo, and I just put a tablespoon of it. And I have compared it with the dairy curd. The fermentation is much better with my curd.
Oh, wow.
The bacteria in it are so rich, are so lively. And the same one I'm putting in my stomach, my microbiome is much richer than the other one. This is the proof.
Beautiful.
So now I know that I'm
Exactly.
not worried about my probiotics or healthy gut bacteria. It's already there in the plant based. We get it much
Yes.
better, more healthy.
Yes. Yes. So, Dr. Rupa, would you say that everything that is made in dairy can also be made with plant-based options? Are there alternatives for all the dairy?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
The community is all geared up. Almost there's everything. So finally, the one that
Mm-hmm.
is still not very clearly seen is the Rasagulla.
Mm-hmm.
But you have
Mm-hmm.
penda, gulab jamu, all these milkshakes which are made in coconut milk. I have tasted the
Yes.
fantastic chicken from soya.
Yes. Yes. We have shown
Yes,
your
very,
recipe
very
in
good.
the.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yes. Yes.
Yes, and we can
Yeah.
make piyush, and we can make soul curry, and we can make
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
buttermilk, and everything is there. I mean, practically, I mean, these days it's so hot, so I've got a tub of ice cream made at home, and I am just
Wow.
enjoying ice cream. Everything
That's
is
so
there.
amazing.
Even the sweet,
Exactly.
fantastic sweets we make, and much better and lighter on your stomach,
Yes.
healthier
And
for
I
your
think it's a,
body.
yeah, it's like guilt-free eating because it's also not taking a toll on your health. You're eating the right food, putting the right food in your system because you're not
Reasonably, if you have
avoiding the.
a correct healthy
Hmm.
plant-based diet, has one great
Hmm.
advantage. If you take more wholesome, then it is
Yes.
telling you when you are satisfied.
Right.
So, I mean, if I have two scoops of ice cream, I will not have six or something just like that. Something within will tell
Correct.
me that I'm
Correct.
satisfied. So that is the biggest
Yes.
advantage, that it activates
Right.
your satiety sensor, tells you when to stop. How wonderful that
Yes.
is. Then you just,
Yes.
eating unconsciously and not knowing how much you ate, and you know
Correct.
this is self-regulating system.
Yes.
It's not
Exactly.
driven by a fixed quantity or something. Your body tells you
Yeah.
when to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Dr. Rupa, thank you. We'll have to conclude our session today because our time is up. And I want to thank all the audience who are here today with us. I'm sure I can say on behalf of Dr. Rupa Shah that we all had a very enlightening and interesting conversation. And if any of you haven't still subscribed to our channel, I urge you to do it soon and also share it with your family and friends. And Dr. Rupa has been featured in a number of our videos where she dives deeper into the subject of health and gives very accurate information and life-changing solutions, for health issues and to live a healthy life, basically. So you'll also find reels and stories on our Instagram page. And I also want to remind you all that we have an amazing website. It's called drinkpositive.org. where you'll find a quiz and a free downloadable book, and also a lot of resources that will help you, in your journey uh, of switching to plant-based milk alternatives. And also, these links are mentioned in the video, in this YouTube video right here. And I hope you enjoyed our session today. We'll be meeting soon again on June 21st with our young vegan chefs, Sana and Rinaz. And the three of us are going to get together to share with you all our discoveries and our experience when we switch to plant based milk, and what hacks we use, and some interesting recipes, and all this fun we had through the transition, because it was an amazing experience. And yeah, we hope you'll join us for the discussion. So do click on the notification button so you don't miss this event on June 21st at 9 p.m. Okay. So
Thank you very
thank
much
you
for
once
having
again.
me.
And yes, and don't forget to drink positive. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rupa. Bye. Just wait for it to